Hey guys, TrishJCB here. I've completed Forspoken with a total of 90 plus hours and I would like to share with you guys what kept me going with this game. The first time I got introduced to Forspoken was in the fourth quarter of 2024. I got recommended gameplay footage of being able to use magic spells and parkour abilities in a fantasy open world game. Naturally, this signed me up as I do adore games that focus on stuff like this. As I got into the game, it did betray what I've seen, as the first chapter was nothing like that. We get introduced to a character called Frey who was under trial in New York for a crime she has committed. Then afterwards we escape from a gang we was involved in to crawl up in bed along with our cat, as her goal is nearly dead to leave the neighborhood. 30 minutes later with the story, the house gets burned down and we suddenly get transported into a new place from touching a bracelet. At this point, the real fun begins as we now have superpowers in this new world. We're able to get hands-on with the gameplay with learning that we have our own powers that is split into two parts. The first part is the damage spells that deals damage and the support spells that will be able to assist us in battle. The damage spells could be either done by pressing the right trigger, but the main purpose is using the charging feature since it has 3 levels attached to it to deal different effects. Upon able to charge and release these attacks, we are able to combine another mechanic into the mix, which is the flow. This allows us to not only evade enemy attacks, but carry on our combos with our damage spells in a stunning fashion. This keeps the momentum going to find that style of our choosing, deciding which spells we want to use next. However, the enemies can still interrupt our flow, so we still need to coordinate when to use our attacks in battle. At first we don't get many spells and there's many limitations while using this, as it has a stamina system. It limits our parkour abilities as it does slow us down in the beginning, but as we carry on with the story events, more stamina points will be earned through completing them and we get longer duration. This also applies to get new spells, as this can be done by completing story events and exploring the world, as they are sometimes found in fountains to aid us in our journey. The story isn't too long to complete, as it takes around 7 to 10 hours, but I wasn't ready to rush through it, as each of the chapters were great at providing us more content away from it. The content outside the story brings us to explore the world of Athia. We go into 4 different regions, finding monuments that provide permanent stat increases and challenges that test our skills in many different ways, exploring the remains of villages, caves, guilds and forts that is taken over by the enemies that will give us extra lore from the events before the story, belfry towers to bring the light to the map, refuges for crafting and resting areas, discovering Tantafamiliars, which are befriending kitties that have their background between them, mutated enemies that are mini boss fights, nightmares of stronger enemies restoring the realm, and lastly the labyrinths that are dungeons scattered throughout the land that have logs, inscriptions, boss fights and buried treasure that will be useful for our adventure. In these gatherings, I was able to gather many different treasures such as necklaces, cloaks and nail designs that improve our stats and has unique effects added onto them. On top of all of that, we do have a level up system that goes all the way to level 99 that is built around getting more mana. These mana are used to unlock new skills, and there are plenty of mana worlds scattered throughout the land that can also assist us with that. It can go even beyond with the skill challenges that we can accept with our current skills. These challenges are objectives we use with our skills to complete and get rewarded with new skill upgrades, such as getting more magic damage, cooldown reductions and increasing the duration of our effects. This also starts off slow at first, but when we do get those challenges completed, we start to see a huge difference of eradicating enemies in seconds. These improvements will also help us out with maintaining our star grade. The grade system is applied in battle, whereby we use our parkour and magic abilities in many different ways to obtain points to our grade that will help us gain more experience and drops as a reward. If we do get hit by the enemies, then our grade will drop, which will also decrease our rewards, so it's very important to get accustomed to each different enemy and their weaknesses to keep our grade in check. Overall, the game is fun when playing away from the story, and I was glad that I took every chance to explore the optional content when I was able to get the chance, as it was a very satisfying experience all the way through. If you guys would like to share your thoughts on Forspoken, feel free to do so in the comments, and I hope you have a wonderful day.